The story begins with a pearl.
Ever looked at a pearl necklace and thought, wow, that's elegant? What if I told you every single one of those pearls started out as an accident, and a pretty uncomfortable one at that? Behind that smooth, flawless glow lies a story of irritation, patience, and years of quiet transformation deep under the sea. Pearls aren't just jewelry. They're the ocean's version of turning chaos into calm. And trust me, the way they come to life will make you see them in a completely new light. At first glance, pearls seem effortless, small, round, shimmering, like nature just decided to show off. But here's the twist. In the wild, finding a perfect natural pearl is about as likely as winning the lottery while getting struck by lightning. Out of roughly 10,000 oysters, maybe one decides to make a pearl worth wearing. That's how rare they are. The rest? They're just living their clammy little lives, doing oyster things. So, humans being humans, we couldn't just sit around waiting for the ocean to drop us one perfect gem every decade. That's how pearl farming began. A collaboration between nature's patience and human obsession with beauty. Inside every pearl lies a simple but genius process. Imagine an oyster minding its own business when something foreign, maybe a tiny parasite or grain of sand, slips inside its shell. Most creatures would panic, but oysters? They take the high road. They start coating the invader with layers of a smooth, shimmering substance called nacre, or what we call mother of pearl. It's like the oyster's natural defense mechanism says, if I can't kick it out, I'll turn it into art. Over time, layer after layer, the irritant becomes a jewel. Literally. It's one of nature's greatest makeovers. What began as a minor inconvenience ends up as a symbol of wealth and purity. Now here's where humans decided to get involved. In the early 20th century, Japan became the heart of pearl cultivation. The waters of Eigo Bay in Mie Prefecture turned into the pearl world's version of Hollywood. Glamorous, exacting, and full of hopeful stars waiting for their big break. Farmers discovered that by carefully implanting a small bead and a piece of tissue into the oyster, they could encourage it to produce a pearl. Think of it as giving nature a gentle nudge. These farms are underwater sanctuaries, meticulously managed to create the perfect environment. The water must be clean, calm, and rich in nutrients. Farmers even pour microalgae into the bays, the oyster's favorite meal. It's like feeding your pet, except your pet might one day produce a gem that ends up in a Cartier display window. Each oyster is carefully nurtured from the moment it's implanted. They're placed in nets and suspended in the sea, swaying with the current like lazy hammocks on a tropical afternoon. It's strangely poetic. Hundreds of thousands of oysters hanging beneath the surface, each one silently working, layer by layer, crafting something that will one day dazzle someone's neck at a gala dinner. But this isn't just a set-it-and-forget-it process. Farmers treat their oysters like living treasures. Every few months, they haul up the nets, clean off seaweed, scrape away barnacles, and check for parasites. Because one small invader, not the good kind that turns into a pearl, but the bad kind, can ruin an entire batch. It's delicate, laborious, and requires incredible patience. You don't just grow pearls, you raise them. The waiting game lasts anywhere from 1 to 2 years. During that time, the oyster's life is basically spa treatment meets endurance test. The right temperature, the right salinity, the right amount of sunlight. Every detail matters. If the water gets too hot, the oyster weakens. Too cold, and it slows down. Even storms can stress them out, causing them to stop producing nacre altogether. Who knew oysters were such sensitive artists? By the time they're ready, each oyster has invested 2 years of its life creating something that could fit on your fingertip. Talk about dedication. And when the harvest finally arrives, it's not just another day on the farm. It's more like opening thousands of tiny treasure chests at once. The harvesting process is where science meets delicacy. Imagine trying to open a locked box without damaging the treasure inside. Skilled farmers gently pry open the shell, carefully slice through the tissue, and remove the pearl with surgical precision. One wrong move, and the pearl can get scratched or ruined. It's nerve-wracking work, but those who've done it for years make it look graceful, like surgeons of the sea. And when that first glint of luster appears under the light, it's pure magic. A soft gleam that no human factory can replicate. That glow isn't just beauty, it's the record of time. Thousands of layers of nacre, each one capturing a moment in the oyster's quiet life. Some oysters survive the process and are healthy enough to start again. If so, they're re-implanted and sent back into the water for another cycle. Others, sadly, reach their final chapter. But nothing goes to waste. The shell becomes part of jewelry, the meat is used for food, and the story continues in a different form. In the world of pearl farming, even the leftovers are precious. Once the pearls are gently extracted, their next chapter begins. The polishing and grading stage, where they finally reveal their true personalities. This is the part where raw beauty becomes refined elegance. Each pearl is carefully cleaned to remove any traces of the ocean, then polished until it gleams like captured moonlight. Under bright lamps and expert eyes, artisans sort them meticulously, measuring every curve, every reflection, every subtle shade of color. They classify them by size, shape, and luster, studying how the light dances across their surface, like ripples on calm water. The most flawless ones, perfectly round and mirror-like, are the crown jewels of the collection. These are the pearls that make auctioneers nervous and collectors eager, fetching prices that rival fine diamonds. Then there are the Baroque pearls, irregular, bold, wonderfully unpredictable. Their curves and twists catch light in unexpected ways, making them favorites among designers who crave character over conformity. They remind us that imperfection isn't a flaw, it's a story. One only nature could write. And the colors? They're nothing short of mesmerizing. Pearls don't come in one shade of white. They're a whole spectrum of the sea. Depending on the oyster species, the minerals in the water, and the depth they grew at, they can blush pink, shimmer gold, glow blue, or gleam in rich shades of black. Tahitian pearls, for example, radiate with deep peacock tones, green, violet, and indigo, swirling together like ocean currents frozen in time. South Sea pearls carry a warm, golden glow so soft it looks like candlelight trapped inside. Freshwater pearls, meanwhile, have that dreamy pastel palette, creamy lavender, rose, and silver, each one whispering of the gentle rivers they were born in. Every pearl is a fingerprint of its home, a little piece of the ocean's identity polished into perfection. Now let's zoom out for a second and really think about this. Why do pearls feel so different from other gems? Diamonds are torn from the earth. Gold is melted and molded. But pearls? They're grown. They're the only gemstones on the planet that come from a living creature. Born underwater, nurtured through patience, and finished by hand. They carry something organic, almost emotional. That's what gives them a soul. They're not forged in fire or carved by chisels. They're built through harmony, layer upon layer of life meeting time, irritation meeting grace, until something perfect emerges. And maybe that's why they've always held such power through history. Ancient royalty didn't just see pearls as jewelry. They saw them as proof of purity, wisdom, and divine favor. Cleopatra famously dissolved one in vinegar just to flaunt her wealth at a royal feast. A move so extravagant, it still echoes through time, and probably gave a few jewelers heart attacks just thinking about it. In Japan, pearls became a quiet symbol of perseverance, beauty born through struggle. In China, they were believed to hold the secret of immortality, glowing with eternal life. Across every culture and every century, pearls have whispered the same timeless message. True beauty isn't rushed. It's refined slowly, with patience and purpose. Across the globe, from Japan's serene Ago Bay to the golden waters of Australia and the lagoons of French Polynesia, the best pearl farms treat their oysters like royalty. These aren't just mollusks, they're living artisans, each one capable of producing a masterpiece. Some farms have even taken it further, experimenting with gentle wave simulations and soft music to soothe the oysters. Imagine that. Somewhere beneath the waves, a cluster of oysters swaying to Mozart, growing your next necklace in perfect rhythm. Not a bad gig if you think about it. Peace, music, and the chance to create something priceless. By the time a pearl finally reaches a jewelry store display, it's already lived a remarkable life. A journey that began in the quiet darkness of the ocean and ended in the careful hands of a master craftsman. Every curve, every shimmer, every soft reflection carries traces of that odyssey. You're not just wearing a gem when you put on a pearl, you're wearing time itself. Months of nurturing, years of patience, and countless unseen moments beneath the waves. You're wearing the story of a living creature that turned irritation into art, transforming discomfort into something breathtakingly elegant. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of pearls, where nature meets artistry and patience turns into perfection, give this video a like, share it with someone who loves discovering the beauty behind everyday luxuries, and stick around. There's a whole world beneath the surface, waiting to be explored.